Most men think they know what's happening when a woman squirts, but almost no one understands what she actually feels when it happens. Is it pleasure, pressure, release, or something else entirely? Today, we'll explore what science, and women themselves, say about this mysterious, often misunderstood experience. Hi everyone, I am Nora, and welcome back to Heal Naturally, the channel where we explore the science of intimacy, energy, and health, without myths or taboos. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, because understanding the real body is the first step toward deeper connection and better performance, both physically and emotionally. Now, let's talk about one of the most confusing topics in men's and women's sexual health: what women actually feel when they squirt. For decades, even medical science couldn't fully agree on what female squirting truly is. Some said it's just urine. Others claimed it's something entirely different. The truth, as always, lies in between, and it's both physical and emotional. Let's begin with the basics. During sexual arousal, a woman's body goes through a series of automatic physical changes. The pelvic floor muscles tighten slightly, blood rushes to the genitals, and a sensitive structure called the Squirt glands, sometimes referred to as the female prostate, begins to swell. These tiny glands sit around the urethra, and in some women, they release fluid when stimulated deeply, usually around the G-spot area. When this happens, it can create an intense internal pressure, a sense of fullness, almost like needing to urinate, but it's not the same. For many women, the buildup before squirting feels like tension, a wave of internal pressure that keeps growing. And then, when release finally happens, it's often described as a rush, both physical and emotional. Some describe it as deep relief, others as euphoric. It's not always about the quantity of fluid. It's about the release of tension throughout the body. Interestingly, studies using MRI scans and pelvic sensors show that female squirting involves the same muscular contractions as a typical orgasm, but with an added layer of fluid expulsion from the Squirt glands and bladder area. So in essence, it's not a different orgasm. It's a different expression of one. Think of it like thunder after lightning. One follows the other, and both are part of the same storm. But here's where it gets fascinating. Not every woman experiences it the same way. Some women feel a powerful release of emotion. Some feel relaxed, vulnerable, or even tearful afterward. That's because squirting involves not only muscle contractions, but also the activation of deep parasympathetic nerves, the rest and relax system of the body. In short, it's not just physical, it's deeply emotional. So, what women feel when they squirt isn't just about fluid, it's about release. Pressure becomes pleasure. Tension transforms into relaxation, and often there's a strong emotional wave attached to it, something that can only happen when there's trust, safety, and deep connection. Now that we understand the biology, let's talk about something science often leaves out: how women actually describe the experience. When researchers and therapists ask women to explain what squirting feels like, the answers are rarely about anatomy. They're about emotion, energy, and connection. Some women describe it as an emotional purge, like releasing something that's been stored inside. They say it feels like a wave that starts deep within the core and spreads outward, leaving the whole body relaxed, open, and almost weightless. Others say it's surprising, an uncontrollable reflex they didn't even know they were capable of. In surveys, many women report that the first time it happened, they actually felt embarrassed or confused because they thought something had gone wrong. That's not surprising, considering how little we talk about it openly or respectfully. But over time, when they understand what's really happening, that confusion often turns into empowerment. They realize it's not something strange or extra. It's simply the body's natural way of letting go, physically, emotionally, and even spiritually for some. Here's where men play an important role. Nearly every woman who's been interviewed about squirting mentions one key factor: emotional safety. When the body feels truly safe, not judged, not rushed, not compared, the parasympathetic nervous system takes over. That's the same system responsible for relaxation, digestion, and deep rest. In that state, the body can release fully without holding back. This is why, in many cases, women say squirting feels like freedom. It's a surrender, not just of the body, but of control. It's also why forcing it, or turning it into a goal, usually shuts it down. Because when the mind becomes anxious or self-conscious, the muscles tighten, and that inner pressure never turns into release. In other words, the mind decides whether the body can let go. Open communication is another common theme. Women who feel comfortable talking about what feels good and what doesn't are far more likely to experience deep release and satisfaction. So when women say, "It felt amazing," they usually mean more than physical pleasure. They mean they felt seen, accepted, and safe. This is also where understanding and patience come in for men. Instead of treating squirting like a performance or proof of skill, treat it like what it truly is. A natural body response that happens when everything aligns: emotion, safety, and trust. Remember, for many women, the moment isn't about the fluid itself. It's about connection. It's about being fully present, both partners feeling in sync, without shame, without fear, without pressure. So what women feel when they squirt isn't just pleasure. It's release, relief, openness. It's an experience that can carry emotional depth, one that requires comfort, patience, and trust. It's the body's way of saying, "I feel safe enough to let go." Now that we've explored the biology and emotional experience of squirting, let's focus on the practical side. What men can do to support their partner, foster trust, and create an environment where the body and mind can fully relax. The first key principle is awareness. Understanding that squirting is not a trick or a performance metric is essential. It's not about measuring success or aiming for a goal. Instead, it's about paying attention to your partner's cues, their breathing, body tension, moans, and even subtle shifts in posture. These are signals that tell you how she's feeling, how close she is to release, and what she needs from you in that moment. 1. Emotional safety comes first. As we discussed in the previous section, emotional safety is non-negotiable. Here's how to cultivate it. Patience over pressure. Never rush the process. The more relaxed she feels, the more likely the body can let go. Non-judgmental presence. Avoid teasing, laughing, or making it a big deal if fluid is released. Normalize it as a natural response. Communication. Ask gentle questions like, "Does this feel good?" or "Do you want more of this?" rather than assuming or commanding. When a woman feels genuinely safe and accepted, her body responds by releasing tension, which can naturally lead to squirting, deep pleasure, or both. 2. Mindful touch and connection. Squirting isn't just about stimulation of one area, it's a full body experience. Women often describe waves that start internally and spread outward, involving the pelvic floor, abdomen, and even the back. Men can support this by exploring gradual stimulation. Use consistent, attentive touch without rushing, paying attention to her reactions. Tiny shifts in breathing or muscle tension are more informative than guesses. Encouraging relaxation. Slow, mindful touch, soft words, and reassurance can enhance release. The goal isn't to make it happen. It's to create a space where her body wants to release naturally. 3. Understanding the emotional aspect. Many men focus solely on physical responses, but squirting carries a significant emotional component. It can feel vulnerable, intimate, and even spiritual for some women. Men can enhance the experience by being fully present, put away distractions, focus on the moment, and respond to cues calmly and confidently. Respecting boundaries. Never pressure her into performing. The moment should be mutual and consensual. Validating the experience. Simple affirmations like, "I love being here with you," or "I'm glad you feel comfortable," can make a huge difference. This emotional connection is what often transforms a physical release into a shared bonding experience, one that strengthens intimacy, trust, and mutual satisfaction. Supporting a woman's natural responses isn't just about sexual moments. It's about creating an environment of trust, Consistent, respectful interactions outside the bedroom reinforce comfort inside it. Openness, talking openly about desires, needs, and boundaries, nurtures emotional safety. Mutual respect, understanding that pleasure, connection, and intimacy are shared responsibilities. Men who adopt this mindset often notice improvements in emotional closeness, sexual satisfaction for both partners, stress reduction and relaxation, overall relationship health. By focusing on natural connection rather than performance, both partners experience a deeper, more holistic sense of well-being. Squirting is a natural expression of release, not a performance goal. Emotional safety, mindful attention, and patience are key. Understanding and supporting the experience strengthens intimacy, trust, and mutual satisfaction. The best way to help her feel good is to be fully present, calm, and connected. When approached with respect, awareness, and care, this experience can transform intimacy from a physical act into a deep emotional connection, something that benefits both partners' health and happiness. So, what we've learned today is simple but powerful. Squirting isn't just fluid, it's release, connection, and trust in action. It's deeply natural, profoundly emotional, and completely normal. If you take one thing away, let it be this: create safety, communicate openly, and focus on connection. Everything else, including physical release, follows naturally. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe to Heal Naturally for more insights on intimacy, sexual health, and ways to boost your energy, confidence, and emotional well-being naturally. And remember, true health isn't just physical. It's emotional, intimate, and relational too. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.